Brian, come on up, Brian. You're making a big positive impact in the community. Thank you very much. And also on top of that, we did not ask we're going to do double of these things to Steve Sims. Where's Steve Sims? Sorry, buddy, we gave away 2 of those. Is that going to be a problem? God bless you. I love you, buddy. All right, good stuff. So it's interesting. So Brian right here is getting ready to write a book, or he's in the process of doing it. And what's the name of your book?
Clarity Leads to Power.
Tell us about it.
So, I want to, with your permission, I would like to tell you guys a quick story about the first time that I met a millionaire. Now, I want you guys to understand, I grew up very, very, very poor.
How poor were you?
Not only was I physically poor, but I was mentally poor. So anyway, I met Jeff at a mastermind meeting at a networking event, and I started talking to him, and as I started speaking to him, Jeff is an older Jewish gentleman, short little guy in his 60s, who has been in and around business for most of his life. So I asked Jeff, and I started asking some information from him. Come to find out that he was childhood friends with D.T. Harv Eker. You know the guy that wrote Secrets of the Millionaire Mind? How many of you guys have ever heard of that book or read that book before? So not only was he childhood friends with that guy, but Harv had actually hired him to build a business. So I knew that I had to set up a meeting with him because I heard you say it the best, Greg. The best way to walk through a minefield is to follow the footsteps of somebody who's already successfully made it to the other side. So I ended up setting up a meeting with him. I showed up to his office. He lets me in, tells me to have a seat, and then he sits back in his chair and says, "How can I help you? What can I answer for you?" And all my weeks of planning went out the window. And I drew a complete blank. And the only thing that I could think of asking him was, why are you a millionaire and I'm not? What is it that you know that I don't? Why is it that I have worked my butt off but haven't been able to achieve the level of success that you have? And he kind of looks at me and he smiles. And he says, you know what, Brayand? You lack the one thing that every single person out there is lacking. And that word is clarity. You see, he taught me that day this very, very powerful principle, which is clarity leads to power. I want you guys to say this with me. Clarity leads to power. Clarity leads to power. I want you to tap your neighbor on the shoulder and remind him or her that clarity leads to power. Clarity leads to power. You see, from that meeting on, and every single week that I met after, he reminded me that clarity leads to power. So I want to leave you guys with one quick other lesson that I learned from him. We were sitting in there, and he was telling me how we all have the shiny object syndrome, and how most of us entrepreneurs are a jack of all trades, but a master of none, because we lack focus. And he said this brilliant, brilliant thing, that where thoughts go, energy flows, and results show. And the more clear you are with what it is that you want and why it is that you want it, the more powerful the energy that you can direct to that. And he told me this last thing. He said that most people don't have clarity. And for that reason, they have no idea which road to go down. And most people go down the wrong road. Now, eventually, they'll get to where they want to, but it's just going to take them a whole lot more time and a whole lot more energy. And then he told me this thing that just blew my mind. He said the only thing worse than going down the wrong road is going down the wrong road enthusiastically. And that's what most people without clarity are doing. He leaned into me, looked me in the eye, and he said, Brayand, I want you to burn this in your subconscious. Clarity leads to power. My name is Brayand Ponciano. I want to remind you guys about the book, Clarity Leads to Power. Will be out for the next Secret Knock. And I just want to give a big, big shout out to my man, my mentor here, Mr. Greg Reed. I was in his house 2 months ago, and he pushed me to do this. And I'm going to tell them, like you told me, get out there and own that shit. And I believe I just did, so.
Woo! Good job, man. Good job. Give it home.